The time has come for you to optimize the strategic value of your IT investments. That's right, the time to integrate aspects that support full-service technology solutions. The challenge? In today's global innovation economy, is to achieve broader reach, scope, and breadth with unique flexibility that allows your enterprise to consume the technology in a way that best suits its needs. Greetings, everyone, and welcome from the Technology Association of Georgia. It's Tuesday, March 1, 2016, and this is Tech Talk. I'm your host, Frank Baia. Converged infrastructure and virtualization, up to the Tech Talk, the simplicity and the ability to do more with less. Less specialized skill around storage is upgrading the storage in the future while adding capacity and performance through scaling. On this edition, hyperconvergence in the data center. Up to the Tech Talk, Meridian IT Director of Converged Infrastructure, James Hagemann. James started his career in end-user support work and unified communications as an engineer, and then transitioned into an architectural role for virtualization in the data center as that market took off. This Tech Talk is a rare opportunity to gain valuable information and insight on what thought leaders are calling purpose-built infrastructure, and why hyperconverged technology is taking over virtually all of the general-purpose work, making managing the entire stack easier, and how to automate the complexity away. Imagine your enterprise as a smartphone with all the software and management already embedded and already taking care of you. All you need to do is just load in your favorite app with no assembly, and it automatically works. Buy, deploy, and run. That's the innovation era hyperconvergence model in a nutshell. Discovering why it's important to you and the future of your enterprise in a quick study, here's on optimizing IT investments as we speak to Meridian IT Director, Converged Infrastructure, James Hagemann. This edition of Tech Talk is brought to you by GlobalSpeak.com, new media consultants, corporate video and audio communications, video and audio production and distribution, live and virtual event production. Tag TV and Tag Radio is a service of GlobalSpeak.com, creatively delivering powerful marketing, video, and audio solutions. James, welcome to Tech Talk.
Hey, Frank. Thanks for having me.
Pretty exciting stuff. Lots of buzz around hyperconvergence, and obviously it's seemingly rapid growth in popularity. Let's start right there. Why hyperconvergence in the data center has grown in popularity?
Sure. From my perspective, hyperconvergence has really grown because of its simplicity, easy to use, and really the ability to do more with less. It's an infrastructure that takes a lot less skill around storage, around infrastructure, around compute and virtualization just to manage. It's very much a cloud-like offering.
Well, in today's environment, obviously things that are, I wouldn't say disruptive, but they're certainly evolving at a rapid change, and it seems like we just can't keep up with pace. I guess really where I'm heading is this taking over the traditional converged infrastructure space?
I would say in many cases, yes. As environments are becoming more virtualized, customers are looking for simpler ways to manage those environments. So really in large environments, there are many specialized applications that require bare metal or extreme performance that aren't necessarily as good of a fit for the hyperconverged technologies. What customers are latching onto with the hyperconverged infrastructures there's environments that they see particularly good fit around, and I refer to those environments as purpose-built infrastructure. So mixing these, there's a lot of customers looking at both the typical converged infrastructure as well as hyperconverged infrastructure, but as those smaller use cases with utilizing the hyperconverged infrastructures take off, they grow very rapidly in customers because of that simplicity to use, that same platform, the one software, and in many cases the one number to support the entire thing. It very much becomes an appliance of the data center.
Well, maybe for our listeners that are a little bit more generally understanding the specifics that you're talking about, because it's so highly specialized, but maybe you can relate to some particularly good areas, cases that were specifically good for this kind of thing.
Yeah, sure. So, I think about the different things that customers have in their data center. And you look at a traditional infrastructure, we talk about all sorts of applications that run, that keep the lights on for the business. Maybe those are the ERP systems, or some data warehouses, or file servers. There's all sorts of applications depending on the type of business or offerings that they provide their customers that they would have running in their environments. So in particular, use cases around hyperconverged are those new ventures, the new projects that come up, whether it be something around virtual desktops or some log and insight analysis through Splunk, or others where you just want to try it off. You want to buy a little piece, but you can't invest a lot of money in the rest of your infrastructure, or you don't want to mess around with the current infrastructure you have. So you just want to bite off a little small chunk and get a infrastructure that's going to run very well and start, and then you have a very predictable cost growth as well. So as that project may take off, the VDI or the Splunk, as that environment grows, you can actually scale out more linearly. So as that environment takes off, you just add one more, you add one more, you add one more, and really that scaling is something that's referred to as like a web scale, or something that more of the cloud giants that are Amazon and Google and those, how they scale their environments, just because they can't predict all the capacity up front.
Well, needless to say, the space is growing very, very quickly, and it's hot. We talked about a little bit about the buzz early on, but major players, can you identify who the major players are at this point?
Sure, Frank. Yeah. So when it comes to the major players, it changes on a daily basis. There's definitely some leaders. I would call those out to say, the likes of Nutanix, SimpliVity, EMC with their vSpecs Blue. There's a new offering with VC, which is traditionally a converged infrastructure player with their VxRail. VMware is in there with their Evo product, HP Converged Systems. There's definitely a list, many more that I could go through, but like we said before, the space is hot and changing quickly. There's definitely going to be the players that rise to the top. There are a few that have already, and that's where I continue to watch, is watching who's the most innovative in that space.
When you're on the other side and you're a client offered all of the opportunities that come about with the evolution of technology and the speed of advancements of one kind or another, it becomes, I think, more and more challenging. You cut through the hyperbole, try to really figure out what is exactly the solution to my particular problem. I guess where I'm headed is that some of our listeners, maybe they're hearing what we're talking about and have heard it before and are now ready to say, well, okay, I'm sold. But, the other side of it is, can we really talk about the fact of, is it a fad or is it really here to stay? I mean, give me a solid reason, if I'm a client, that I can make a move and really invest.
Sure, yeah. Well, honestly, the success of hyperconverged really isn't just bringing storage and compute together, as maybe the moniker of hyperconverged calls it, or positions it as such. Really, when I think about it, the reason why it's here to stay and it is really starting to stick is it's a change in the paradigm of what the data center is. The reason why it's being bought is because it's a well-integrated platform with management built into it. I said it before, it's very cloud-like. It scales like a cloud. It's consumed like a cloud. It takes a lot less specialized skill. So it's making that and managing that entire environment and that entire stack of compute, storage, networking, hypervisor, virtual machines. What it does is it makes it very easy to manage, and it automates the complexity away. Think about smartphones, right? So today you buy a device. It has all the software and management taken care of. Those are very easy to use. They're very core functions of the product. Sure. But then you load your favorite apps on it. So think of those as all the business critical applications that it takes to run your business. So buy the infrastructure like a smartphone and then load your applications on it. And you don't have to assemble it from the parts and make it all work and go through testing phases and everything else like that. It's really meant to be that ready to go off the shelf and let's run with it. So, that's the Converged.
Well, go ahead.
Go ahead, Frank.
I was just going to say, I think the reaction has got to be wow, because the reality of what you're talking about is absolutely, in order to sustain any kind of competitiveness, you cannot not look at something like this and find out more and probably take action on it. I know we're running quickly out of time, but I think it's most times, we talk about the fact of something really more of a knowledge leadership, but I think in this particular case, there's so much of an importance to for some of our listeners who are probably ready and want to take action and really don't know where to go or what to do, and certainly don't want to do it by themselves. I guess what do they say I'm trying to think of the right adjective, but an unafraid sales pitch. I'm going to ask you to do something I don't normally do on Tech Talk, but as we wrap up, how do some of our listeners who want to find out more get a hold of you?
Sure. Because, that space, I have conversations on it every day, and it's something where there isn't one right fit for every single person or every single customer. So we evaluate those needs and really position what's right for the customer. So, if I tell you probably the best thing to do is you can reach me or get a hold of the company I work for by reaching out to us. You can come to our website and learn more about our offerings. It's www.meridianinc.com, and you can contact us and dive into any of that to learn more.
Well, James, thank you so much for taking time out of what I know is a busy schedule to give us some insights, really, really cutting-edge stuff, and thank you for joining us today on Tech Talk.
Thanks for your time, Frank. I appreciate it.